Good morning, one and all. Apologies for not being around yesterday. Well, I say sorry. Gio did an absolutely marvellous job talking about Jesse Lingard and Patreon and how much Jesse Lingard was worth and whatnot. I went down to Dorset and it snowed, basically. I went down to a place called Sandbanks. If you don't know where it is, it's where the most expensive property in the country is. But it's a really nice place. You can go and look at the harbour and look at the beach. And it's very, very nice. Harry Redknapp's got a house down there, actually. And I think it's about a £7-8 million house. So very near to Harry's house. I wasn't stalking him or anything like that, of course. And I just thought, you know what, I'll go down when I'm there. I'll see the sea. I'm telling you, this storm came in. What I thought was going to be this, go and see this lovely sunset, and it started to snow. Just my luck. I go to the beach and it snows. So there you go. So anyway, I'm back for today, at least. And I'll talk about Jesse Lingard a little bit, if you don't mind, again. Now, Jesse was being discussed by Gio, both on the video on this channel yesterday. And of course, Gio did the video about Jesse Lingard being the best player since Payet, really. And I'll touch on that in just a second. But what I'm more interested in at this present moment in time is the fact that his value, at least in the press, seems to be going up and up and up. And I understand it, because I did a video a little while ago suggesting that Manchester United were wise to not put the buyout clause in there, to not make the loan deal permanent. I said that Manchester United knew how good Jesse Lingard was. I've changed my mind. I don't think even Man United knew that he would be this effective. I think it's safe to say that Jesse Lingard is one of the best players in the Premier League. He absolutely is. I read an article somewhere or other earlier on today suggesting that he could possibly be in the running. One of the pundits had said, maybe it's Carragher or something like that, I don't know, had said he could win Player of the Year. The Player of the Season, PFA Player of the Year. Well, I'll tell you now, he can't. I think the ballots have already gone out. So he can't. He didn't play at the first part of the season, but I know what they mean. If it were to be taken from the point he joined West Ham, he'd be right in the mix. So I think he surprised Man United a little bit. They knew he was good. I think he surprised us a little bit. Moisey knew he was good. That's why he wanted to bring him in. I think he certainly surprised the rest of the Premier League. Because when you look at his output and you look at what he's done, it's nothing short of sensational. Now, I've got a little theory with the Jesse Lingard thing. It's a bit of a theory and it's a bit of a hope. The hope is that my theory is correct, and that means he signs for West Ham. Now, I remember him playing well for Manchester United. I absolutely do. I remember him playing well for England, but I don't seem to recall for a sustained period him producing his West Ham form. Now, you've got to quantify this with, when he plays for Manchester United as a team score more goals, just generally. They over a course of a season, every season, Man United will score more goals than West Ham. They have better players. I'm sorry to say it, whoever plays up front for Manchester United, whoever they buy, is going to score more goals for whoever plays up front for West Ham. It's just the case and always will be. So because of that, maybe his stats are slightly inflated at Manchester United. But I don't know. I would imagine he's run a game since he come to West Ham, and his goals and his assists match at least or outdo anything he did over any, whatever it is, 6-7 game period at Manchester United. That's how good he is. I think he's bettered his Manchester United form, and it becomes all the more remarkable because he's doing it in a West Ham team. Now, I want you to take his goal that he scored the other day, this solo run that people are calling like a Maradona goal or a Messi goal, right? It was magnificent and it was a brilliant goal. He doesn't score that goal at Manchester United. At Manchester United, it's a very, very different proposition. At West Ham, when you receive the ball, all you've got is Mikel Antonio in front of you to pass the ball to, and he's pulling the player the other way, he's going to be able to do that. They don't have Fernandes, they don't have Pogba, they don't have Rashford, they don't have Greenwood, Martial, anyone, name anybody you like, albeit England, Harry Kane or Raheem Sterling, actually bombing past him and demanding the ball. you're just not going to get to do that. Those solo goals, that's why the Ryan Giggs one is so lauded, because there are so many good players. There's always someone screaming for the ball. There's always someone in a good position. These good teams have wonderful players. They attack at pace and they attack with numbers. At West Ham, he's sort of isolated. I know Antonio was up there, but he is sort of isolated. So he's sort of got to score that goal because he's got to run for it. Remember the Ravel Morrison goal? He sort of had to do that. There was no other option because a lot of our players, because we're West Ham, are defending for quite a lot of the time. I'm not saying we don't, in parts, in games, get players in the box. Clearly we do. But because he's at West Ham, because he's the main man, because he's the big fish in the medium-sized puddle, if you like, he is able to say, I'm the man, I'm the main guy, I'm going to dribble past 4 or 5 players. And that's fine, because if it fails, what's going to happen? Nothing. Jesse Lingard will have another opportunity, hopefully, to do it within the game. He might make the next dribble successful. And even if he doesn't, Lingard is still back in the team for the next game. At Man United, that doesn't necessarily happen. If Lingard has a game where he tries unsuccessfully to dribble and it doesn't come up and he gets no goals, he gets no assists, and in that game, Solskjaer has said, OK, I'm resting Fernandes, then Solskjaer just says, OK, well, this is why we've got Fernandes in there. Also, he has to play Fernandes. Fernandes cost, what was it, 50 million, something like that? Was it? I think it came from Sporting Lisbon. High-profile player, lots of money. You've seen it a little bit with De Gea. It took De Gea, even though Henderson might have been the better goalkeeper, it took De Gea to actually leave the country and go and be at the birth of his child for Solskjaer to really put Henderson into the team. Reputation matters. Your price tag matters and your wage matter. And so does one matter. Hey! So this is my point, really. He almost gets one shot at it at Man United. Now, he will also know that, and this is why I'm clinging on to the fact that Jesse will know that this is good for him. That Lingard will know that actually being at West Ham, he is able to do the things and given the responsibility to do and to be the main focus that he just isn't at Manchester United. Not only do they have all these players, those players also come and go. New ones come in, they buy new players. There's a conveyor belt through the academy as well, it seems, at Manchester United as well. If it don't work out, well, that's okay. Because they can spend 50, 60, 70 million to bring someone else in. And they will, and they do. So I just hope that in some fashion that this is going to play into West Ham's favour. I think what is perhaps not going particularly well for us is the fact that he's put in such a high level of performance. There are now other clubs of a more elevated status than West Ham who are now interested in him. So whereas before it was almost you can stay and be a squad player at Manchester United or you can go to West Ham or someone else, I now think bigger clubs would look at Jesse Lingard and think, well, not only can he sign for us, he will play in our team and he will feature in our first team. We'll go on to price in just a second, but before I do that, have I shown you this lovely mug? I know I have at least once before. If you'd like one of these, they're beautiful, aren't they? Lovely, lovely mug. They're a tenner. Contact us at hammerschat@gmail.com and you can get one. And I thought I would do that today because yesterday Gio did a lovely job of talking about the Patreon, and he's absolutely right. If you do want to support Hammers Chat, because we are trying to make a go of it as a full-time job. As Gio said, we're 55% towards our goal, and we had some new sign-ups yesterday, and I'm eternally grateful. And I'm actually going to be doing an update just myself this week on the Patreon channel, just to have a little chat, you know, about all things, no holds barred. From £3.50 a week, we've got several different tiers. You get lots of additional content. We've got a lot of products coming up. We actually got some you get discounts on all this stuff as well. We've got some really nice, I'm not sure I'm allowed to say. We've got some other stuff coming out, put it that way. If you want to support Hammers Chat, patreon.com/Hammers Chat. Of course, /Hammers Chat. What else would it be? I also want to say a massive thank you to our sponsor, ETC. You'll see the logo. Where is the logo going to be? I haven't put it up yet. No, there. Sorry, there. This is in reverse, this video. Who have been absolutely supportive, absolutely wonderful, and a massive part of us being able to press forward and try and do this as a job. Anyway, Jesse Lingard's value, and with it going up. I do think there's a finite limit. I don't believe with the increase in his performance that just every time he scores a goal or gets an assist, or both, as seems to be the case with him, that you can just go and whack on another 10 million. There's a game of brinksmanship going on. Manchester United's position has been strengthened. There's absolutely no doubt about that. However, they're still in a situation where they have a player who can, if he chooses to, run down his contract. They still have a player who I think is going to want to be assured of first-team football. So I think the question is, has Jesse Lingard done enough for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, not only to promise him, we've discussed this before, but promise him and make Jesse Lingard believe it, because I'm sure Solskjaer would say the words, but make Jesse Lingard believe that he is going to feature in the first team on a regular basis. There's another aspect as well, which I've not seen discussed too much, and that is that maybe, just maybe, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't particularly, I was going to say fancy Jesse Lingard. I don't mean that. I think he would see that he's a good player. He's nobody's fault. But maybe he just doesn't fit into his way of thinking. Maybe he's a good player, but he just finds no use for him. Sebastian Haller at West Ham. It just, you know, good player, score goals at Ajax, absolutely fine, will suit their system. Not at West Ham, no. No, it wasn't happening particularly under David Moyes. I just wonder if there is an aspect to that. And if there is, then is it not the possibility that actually not only does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer not want Jesse Lingard, but actually he wants the money, he's been promised the money from Jesse Lingard, plus whatever wonderful transfer kitty they'll have. Manchester United have a transfer kitty of sorts, but they've made massive losses, like everybody. And I think Man United is something, I think they're about £100 million down. That's a significant amount, particularly when Manchester United is basically based on debt. The Glazers borrowed money to buy Manchester United. The Glazers didn't have the money. They borrowed it. So there's a lot of debt there. So being £100 million down is a lot of money. What it probably means, can they still buy players? Yes, but it probably means their transfer budget is not 150 million. It might be 50, 60, 70 million. So actually whatever you can get from Lingard is going to make a difference. So I think there's a certain amount of that at play. Hopefully that plays into our hands whereby they want the money, they're going to need the money, and they want to keep the money for themselves. Hopefully, with the Jesse Lingard being at West Ham and loving West Ham, which clearly he does, it's been a massive success, then that works in our favour. And he signs for us. But the better he plays and the more he plays, I'm sure you're the same, the less confident I become. It's crazy. This is going to sound silly, but after that first game and in the second game and the third game, you thought, OK, well, that's great. I don't want him to get any better, though. And then he does go away with England and he wins man of the match. And then he comes on as a substitute in both those games, and even the Poland game, which we know is an important game for Southgate. So Southgate's now thinking, hold on, this guy's back in. You almost wanted him to be good enough to keep the West Ham momentum going, but for West Ham, it's almost a bit bad that he has become one of the best players in the Premier League. I mean, you'd put him up in the top 10. You'd have to at the moment. You just have to. Now, don't get me wrong, if it propels West Ham into a Champions League position, and we get Champions League and we get the whatever money you get, the 30, 40, 50 million, great. West Ham are a Champions League club and we've got us there. It's done us well. If we don't, then we just got this player as one of the best players in the Premier League. And maybe, just maybe, we won't be able to afford him. As Gio alluded to, though, in the video yesterday, the club are saying that they'll do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. I go back to what I said before, which was we still have to get the striker. The striker has to be done. That's become just as important. I know it was. We didn't see a need for Jesse Lingard before. The striker was important, right? That was always important. Let's be fair. A lot of us, we thought, hold on, Lingard, we're not bringing anyone in at the window's closing. We're bringing Jesse Lingard. We don't need him. We've got Fornals and we've got Ben Rama and we've got Lanzini. We don't need this player. Now we've realised we were wrong. Moyes was right. We do need him. But at that point, all we needed to do, as far as we were concerned, was with the striker and then obviously the midfielder, possibly, you know, left back. But you know what I mean? There were priorities. Now we have an additional priority, which we didn't know we had, and now we do have, which we have to buy Jesse Lingard. But even though that is the case and that is the priority, because of what's happened to Miguel Antonio, it is now imperative that the striker gets done as well. It's going to be really interesting. It's going to be a really, really interesting window. I hope whatever they do, they get wrapped up quickly. I really do, particularly with an international tournament going on. I want West Ham's transfer business wrapped up before the first game is played. Anyway, that's me done. Thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget your mug. Well, you have to buy it. You can't just, you know what I'm saying. I'll see you tomorrow.